Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. After all the struggle they went through to get out of the water and find love on land, well, I shouldn't say they, Ariel, and much to the annoyance of her father, as 16-year-old girls tend to do, she finds love and gets married to a strange man she met 5 minutes earlier, or from afar on a boat, uh, and and therein starts the Renaissance era of the Disney animated features. So this is the direct-to-video sequel. It came out in 2000. It's an hour and 17 minutes long. Yeah, hour and 17 minutes long, and it is a sequel. Yep, it is. Well, okay. Um, it is not a great sequel. I'm going to be very blunt about that. Uh, yeah, it takes you back to the Ariel and Eric, and if you care at all about story or animation or anything else, animation is going to be Saturday morning level, maybe even the cartoons for the serial level animation quality. That's just a tad disappointing when you compare it to the original. Again, it's they do a lot to recreate some of the moments, the splash or the whipping the hair out of the water when she surfaces. Uh, they try to recreate a lot of that. By the way, I'm saying when they recreate that, they recreate that with Ariel and Eric's daughter, not Ariel herself, their daughter Melody. When we first start the film, she's a baby, and they're celebrating her birth, and everybody, the people, the they're not from Atlantis. They're from Atlanta. I don't know. Atlanta under the sea. Uh, Atlantica. That's where they're from, which is just weird. Um, but there maybe it's just like a sister city to Atlantis. I don't know. But Atlantica, Triton, and everybody comes out to see Melody, and of course, when that happens, well, guess what? Morgana shows up, which happens to be Ursula's much thinner sister. Yeah, I guess that says a lot that I'm just bringing her body size into this from the start. But it's an obvious design choice, so it doesn't look like, hey, look, another Ursula. Strangely enough, though, it's still voiced by Pat Carroll, who did the voice of Ursula. Unfortunately, we do not get a song out of her. Like, one of the best songs in the original Little Mermaid was Ursula's song. Uh, Poor unfortunate souls. So, yeah, and again, if there was a song in this movie that featured Morgana singing, I don't remember it because the music is barely there, and when it is there, it's just it's not good. It just pushes you through the scene and says, "Okay, we took up some time, done, and now we get back to the story." Yes, there's a Little Mermaid series, and there's other stuff that explore this world, and Ariel going back to the sea and everything else. But this takes place after the whole sequence with Morgana trying to get Melody and being pushed back, um, and her sidekick, Undertow, voiced by Clancy Brown, who voices everything. If you need a menacing kind of tough guy, well, he plays a shark in this one who gets shrunk down into a tiny little tiny shark by Triton. So they're scuttled off. Sorry, not intentional. They get pushed away, and 12. That basically says Ariel tells Ariel, I can't tell her about her heritage. We got to keep her safe, and we're not coming back to the ocean. So 12 years later, they're having a birthday party, and Melody feels awkward. She likes to go swimming a lot. She doesn't have fins. She doesn't know that her mom's a mermaid, or was, and it's just yes, it's a story of rebellion in the sense that she's and growing up and trying to come to terms with who she is and feeling weird and awkward at that weird puberty stage. By the way, the funniest line or moment in the movie for me that I laughed out loud is Sebastian, who, yes, is in this and is voiced by Samuel E. Wright once again. Sebastian explains to her what happened when he went through puberty without saying the word puberty. And it's, you have to hear him deliver it. For me to do it just doesn't do it. It's short. It's not even like important. It's not even important to the story. It's just a little dialogue aside where she's not even listening to him, and he's like, well, you know what happened, things are awkward, and when I was, it's best that you watch it just for that sequence. And I have a feeling it's barely, not even 25 minutes into the film, I'm guessing. I didn't take note at the time. Anyway, Melody suddenly finds the locket that was given to her by Triton to show her of her heritage. It was given to her after she was born, but Morgana screwed all that up and it fell into the ocean. And while she's 12 years old, out swimming around with just other random fish, and Sebastian watching over, he's been given, you guys, they give Sebastian, a crab, way too much responsibility over children. It just doesn't seem like a good idea. He didn't do well with Ariel, and he's certainly not going to do well with her daughter, so come on. Anyway, he's watching over her. I guess when he wasn't looking, she finds the old locket that holds a hologram of Atlantica and shows mermaids, and it has her name on it. She finds it, and that causes her, I'm not going to tell you any much more about the story beyond that, but it causes her to question who she is and where she's from, and she goes off to get some answers, and guess who's ready to give her those answers and take advantage of her? Morgana. So this leaves there's sequences where Melody is sort of having a fight with Ariel a little bit, and Ariel's forbidding her to go out, and it just sounds, it's intentionally written so it sounds so much like Triton and Ariel in the first film, where the tables are turned. You don't understand. Well, you live under my roof or ocean or whatever. And so Ariel, according to this, hasn't been a mermaid for 12 years. This was made, obviously, before the series, so I don't know if there's any such thing as canon, or if anybody cares if there's canon or not. These are just fun little stories. But yeah. So yeah, Melody goes on a voyage of self-discovery. She gets some sidekicks, just like Ariel had Flounder and Scuttle and Sebastian. She also has Sebastian, but she also meets like a sea lion and a penguin, and yeah, it's an adventure. And again, their antics sort of help you cut away from its slapstick and its comedy, cut away from the more serious story of her trying to find out about who she is and becoming a mermaid, and whether she can hold on to that or not, and if Morgana is trustworthy, But story-wise, it's pretty much, you can pretty much see everything that's going to happen by the numbers. You know exactly how this thing's going to turn out. There's no real surprises. It's not really, I don't know. Again, it's meant for children, so it's not everything's made for me, obviously. So I'm just going to say that if you're an adult, you're just like, okay, it's The Little Mermaid. There are worse things on Disney Plus, but unless you're a super duper crazy, gotta have that Little Mermaid fan, you're probably never going to want to watch this. It's not going to help build out your love for The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid, the original, stands on its own as a classic, and it's awesome. Sequel, not so much. But hey, it's up to you. Some of the other voices, Buddy Hackett's back. Like I said, Pat Carroll's back as her sister of Ursula. Ursula's face turns up. Apparently, when you live underwater, somehow you keep photos of the character. So Ursula technically shows up in the movie, but only in a photo that Morgana keeps. She was the sister was who could never measure up to her bigger sister. Sorry for the pun. Prince Eric is done by Rob Paulsen. Eric doesn't have a ton of lines, but Rob Paulsen is a classic voice actor who is in every Disney thing. Period. Every Disney thing. Tara Strong is Melody. Melody, obviously, Ariel sings, although hardly at all. I think she has 2 songs with Melody. Technically, they're in 2 different places at least one time. So Jodie Benson, I mean, she's back, but she doesn't really get to really do those songs. It's kind of sad because she's Ariel. She should be singing. She's just a worried mom now. And so Tara Strong plays Melody, and Tara Strong, you'll know her. She's Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. She's Barbara Gordon, some of the Batman things. I think she's even played Harley Quinn once. She's I think Twilight Sparkle or something on the My Little Pony. She is in everything. If you need a female voice, she's like one of the queens of voiceovers for animation. So yeah, she plays a 12-year-old girl in this one. She's played Bubbles on Powerpuff Girls, so she's definitely playing older than usual. Ray Auberjonois, I cannot say his name ever right. He's Odo on Deep Space Nine. He has 2 lines, maybe. Somehow, though, yeah. I'm going to spoil this little piece. At Melody's birthday party, the chef that Renee plays brings out the cake, and it's played for comedy slapstick. He sees Sebastian, who's caught up in Melody's dress, and when he escapes, he starts, "Oh, you messed everything up." Like, okay, they've kept Sebastian around. I guess she's watched over Melody, so Sebastian has to have been around the castle or the city for 12 years. Like, they've never seen him in all this time. I'm not buying that. So yeah, there's tons of great talent throughout this. Oh, Edie McClurg shows up again. Frank Welker plays the dog, Max. Yeah, but the dog, I think he barks once. I think there's a lot of wasted potential in this movie. But again, it was direct to video, and I think it was just a cash-in period where they're like, hey, we had a ton of great movies in the 90s. You know what? Let's make sequels, and on the cheap. And I realize people put the hard work into this and try to make it. There's 3 different studios around the world that were working on this together. But yeah, I realize they probably didn't have a big budget like maybe the first one. It just doesn't click. There's a whole... If they ever do another sequel someday, I hope they spend the money. So, all right, let's pick Thomas. I'm cruel. I'm sorry, but I have high expectations. Ariel's might be my favorite Disney princess, at least the Renaissance era. So, I'm particular. Anyway, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
139.
139. What do we got there? I don't know. $139. Oh, here we go. Well, at least we're starting with the original, not the sequel. It's another movie. I think it's Eddie Murphy. Yeah. I think maybe you know what we're talking about. It's in the D's. 139 is Dr. Dolittle. Dr. Dolittle. Just missed Doc McStuffins. Oh well. All right, Dr. Dolittle on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow. See you then. Bye.